Welcome to the Escape and Empower podcast. Escape from the corporate rat race to empowered franchise ownership. Are you ready to take control of your destiny, follow your dreams, and live life on your own terms? Join our hosts, Dave and Pete, for insights on how to break free from the corporate grind, ditch the 9-to-5, and step into empowered franchise ownership.
Welcome to the Escape and Empower podcast. My name is Pete Gilfill, and I'm here with my podcast partner, Dave Greenberg. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Pete. How are you today?
Hey, I am pumped up as usual. You know, our mission on our podcast is to really help people, help them take control of their destiny, live life on their own terms, and build wealth through becoming an empowered franchisee. And we always try to answer a question. And today, what I thought we would do, and this is one that you and I both had to answer, right, is, are you ready to take control of your destiny? It's a great question to ask. And if you are, there are 3 simple steps you take. So let's talk a little bit about this, because you have to be at a point when you're ready to take back your life, right? You and I were in the corporate world, and we were both really successful with large companies, lots of responsibility. Right. But, you know, it gets to a point where you just know that you're ready. You want to get rid of the shackles. You want to be in control of your life. Dave, remind me, what was your big thing, that your tipping point that made you say, hey, listen, I'm ready to take control of my destiny?
I'm going to use your best-selling author book, or however we talk about it. It was time to hire myself. And when I got done with the exit in the private equity company I was participating with, I said, okay, no more working for the man, no more delivering value to the preferred shareholders and, getting what's left over. Time to hire myself. So why not call Pete, who knows how to help people hire themselves, and in doing so, chart my own path, create my own, take control of my destiny in the future.
Yeah, and my experience was that after Ford, I worked for a company called Terex, and a great position. I ran global sales and production planning, and like executives that are dealing with international work, I was gone all the time. I was gone 5-6 days a week, and it sucked. And I had a point. I had looked at businesses before I took the job at Terex. My wife wanted me to have a job, so I took the job. But I had a trigger event while I was overseas, and I'll never forget it. I was in this hotel room. I woke up in the middle of the night. It's pitch black in the room, and I sat up and I couldn't remember where I was at. Right there, I decided I was done. That is it. I'm not doing this corporate gig anymore. I don't want to be on planes. I want to be at home with my wife, my 4 kids, my yellow lab, and my nice house. And I want to be in control. I don't want to have to move. I don't want to have to travel. I want to control my schedule. I don't want to be late for a daddy-daughter dance. I want to go to my son's football game, whatever it may be. Bottom line is, I want to be in control. And that was the minute I made the decision. And I immediately, very shortly after that, quit my corporate job. And that was my time to basically take back my life.
And, it was pretty interesting. As you were going through that, Pete, I thought of my own personal story, and I needed to be the captain of my own calendar. I just didn't want to deal with those scaries anymore, and those Sunday night scaries. And I wanted that freedom to not only get away from all the shackles that I had in a wonderful corporate career, but really see what I could do as a person and as an entrepreneur, right? Because we all had great performance reviews, but heck, why don't you just put that energy to work and deliver it for your family and deliver it for you? It's like super empowering and super rewarding.
But the first step is you got to make that decision to take control of your destiny. It's scary, though, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely.
We're used to having that corporate job, that corporate pay. But, the idea is that if you can talk about being your own business, right? I mean, you and I worked hard in the corporate world, and we were building something. It just wasn't for us. We had to do a great job of leading people. We did that, but it was different than having your own business. So let's talk a little bit about when you make that decision. There's some real advantages to this idea of becoming an entrepreneur, owning your own destiny, controlling your future, whatever. It's like, I think about every day I wake up and I go, God, I've got a blessed life, right? I made that decision to do that. And now I get up, I don't have a boss. I don't have to sit through senseless meetings. I don't have artificial objectives, right? I don't have to sit through any kind of baloney, right? I can go there and I can put 100% of my energy towards building my business and taking care of customers, taking care of employees. So the first step is that decision. You and I did it, but yet everybody's got to get to that point where they make a decision and understand that the other side, it's really good. You just got to find the right opportunity, that bridge to leave what you're doing now to be in control.
So let's jump into finding that right opportunity, because that's what you and I do every day, and we've both been through the process. In the W-2 world, when you're looking for a job, all the recruiters, the HR people say, oh, we got to make sure the fit is right. Well, what the heck does that mean in the Well, culture, skill set, personality, whatever fit is in that world. And people today, is the fit right? You go through all those dating apps and swipe right, swipe left. You're trying to figure out what the right fit is. So you think about that, and what we do, Pete, every day is, when people start looking for franchises, they all talk about what they eat, the quick service restaurants, we know as QSRs, and they'll start Googling and they'll get worn out. But, it's an overwhelming process by the number of options you have out there. And, I was just talking to someone who wanted to get into the coffee business. I said, why the heck do you want to do that? I found it and I got really interested. And I said, did you look at any alternatives? Said, no. I said, well, how do you compare and contrast what you're about to move forward with relative to other investment types or other businesses that might fit your personal goals? He was like, oh, you're right. So we put that on hold. My point is, whether it's our personal stories about finding the right fit or how we help candidates find the right fit, it can be incredibly overwhelming. So why not work with Pete and I to kind of boil down the options based on the characteristics that we think you're really looking for in our business?
I think it's about this idea that when you start this path of trying to figure out what's next, you have to take a step back and understand what's important to you and what do you want to accomplish with a franchise business or any venture you choose, right? So that's what you and I do. We help people take a step back, understand what they're looking for. To your point, the coffee, right? I want a coffee franchise because I like coffee. Well, you know what? I understand you like coffee, but it doesn't mean you take your hobby and basically make it a business, right? So we go through a very set process to help you step back, understand what you're looking for, what you want the business, and come back in a way in which it's all in a summarized format. And then we go look for franchises that align with that interest and get you in front of them where you start a due diligence process. And as we look at investing in a business, bottom line is it is about due diligence. It's going through a series of steps. We call it the franchise investigation procedures that you do your due diligence. You learn about the franchise. You talk to existing franchise owners to find out if they're happy, if they're making money, right? And the idea behind it is you have to put in the work to find the right partner. It's not any different than if you're dating somebody. You got to put the work in to find the right person that you want to marry, right? It's not any different with a franchise. It's a little easier, I think, to find a franchise than it is a partner. But the idea behind it is that we want to make sure we understand where we want to go, what we want to accomplish. We go, for lack of better terms, research, find the right ones, which we help people do that. And then you got to make the decision that this is the path I want to take.
And Pete, I want to rewind to, we go and look at franchises that are a right fit. Let's talk about our portfolio. Because the portfolio that we work with is very selective. It's 200 or so franchisors strong, 100,000 all in, many $1 million all in, owner operator, executive model, and categories, whether in wellness, youth enrichment, in-home senior care, central services. Our portfolio is tight, and it's tight because they're vetted. They're A-plus franchisors that are looking to grow, have the leadership team, have the capital, have the wherewithal, have the happy franchisees to validate with that we work on. And so when we bring you 3 or 4 opportunities to work through the franchise investigation procedure, it comes with a lot of preparation and a lot of thought. We're just not bringing things off the shelf that we haven't explored before.
Yeah, it's not about giving you a list. It's about kind of putting thoughtful, hey, is this good business tied to what you're looking to accomplish and linking the two. And if you can find good businesses, and they might not be anything you ever thought of. When I presented to you a salon suite franchise concept, and I think I gave you an automotive franchise concept and repair, another service-based business, right? All of them, you go, Pete, I'd never thought of these. But when we
Right.
kind of dug in, they align with a lot of the stuff that you wanted to accomplish. And ultimately, you picked one. And so it is about kind of doing that due diligence, finding the right one. And then you got to, once you become a franchisee, it's the third step. And that's, you got to work really hard to grow that business, right? You're all in now. You've invested. You're going.
As you work through this, it's so important to think of context. Because one business that you're looking at will put the other in context. Yeah, you can say, well, eliminate FOMO, and you'll understand why you didn't go into a particular category or a particular business. But they all have different variations about how they approach the market, the services they offer. The characteristics will be steady because we've centered on things that you're looking for in your investment. But as Pete just mentioned, one will put the other in context. I didn't want to get into all the moving parts of being into automotive repair. I knew it like the back of my hand. I understood it. The labor pool was a little challenging compared to what I decided to go into. And I said, that's just way too many parts. But what Pete did is he helped me put what I really wanted in context because I understood why I didn't want something and why I went down the path we went down.
Yeah, and when we talk about this idea of going forward with the business, where you decided to do your salon suite franchise concept, you knew that even though it was a franchise, they had all the systems, process, procedures, you still had to work hard to launch that business, right? I always use the term, it takes power and energy to get a business off the ground, like a plane. The idea with this is that you have to work hard. There's no substitute for hard work when we are launching a business. That doesn't mean you have to be the person doing all the work. It just takes hard work to get a business off the ground. And what I think a lot of people forget to do is to leverage resources, right? As you're launching the business. And I'll give you my example. When I invested in the junk removal franchise and also my franchise consulting business, I hired a business coach. Now, I had run $5 billion organizations, but I decided that I wanted to get better and I hired a coach. I leveraged other franchisees, to learn from them. And so the idea is that you work hard, you leverage the resources that are available to you to improve your chances of success.
Absolutely. You don't think you're going to work hard, just stop the presses. Because, someone told me, everyone needs to roll up their sleeves and flex their entrepreneurial muscle. And you got to go make things happen. I'm a chief officer of getting shit done. You need to work hard. You need to get stuff done. And you need to build the team. It's just like any W-2 job. You take over a new division. What do you do for the first 3 months? You figure it out, right? What do you do for the following 3 months? You're starting to, get in your groove and build momentum. What do you do after 6 months? Well, by that time, you're like, okay, this thing's done. I'm just going to sustain it and build it where I want to build it. It's no different than when you're starting your own business. You've got to be prepared to invest the time. You need to be prepared to put in the effort. You need to be prepared to build the team. You need to be prepared to motivate the team and make these things happen. It's so important and it can never be underestimated. Yeah, you're right, Pete. It's not going to last 80 hours a week. No, it's how you apply yourself and how you work hard and work smart to get things done.
Yeah, I always say treat every day like it's your last day, like having that
Yeah.
sense of urgency that you just got to get it done. And again, you don't have to be the person doing whatever it is, but you still have to be dedicating focus and energy towards driving the business, picking the right employees, leading those employees, making sure that your marketing is on point. Everything, your customers are having a great experience. And so the idea is it takes energy to drive a business. We'll kind of go back to where we started. Everybody wants to take control of their destiny. The question is, are you ready to take control of your destiny? Right? And that's everybody hits their tipping point. And if you get to that tipping point, and you just know that, hey, listen, I'm ready to take my life back. I want to take control of my destiny, right? I want to live my life on my own terms. I want to build wealth for myself, not somebody else. I want to become an empowered franchisee. Well, we've given you the 3 steps, and what we do is we help people with the other 2 steps, right? You got to make the decision that you're ready, but you help people. I help people. That's what we do every day is we help senior level executives explore the idea of franchise business ownership. And if this is something that you're interested in, go to the Empowered Franchisee, ask for a little time with Dave. He can talk to you, learn a little bit about you, or you can go to hireyourself.com, and ask me for 15 minutes, and we'll learn a little bit about you and tell you how we can help you take control of your destiny to build life, to build wealth and live life on your own terms, whatever it may be. But bottom line is we're here for you.
I think it's fantastic. And for those that are out there, we thank you for joining the Escape and Empower podcast. We hope you come back and listen to more episodes where we share our guidance on and inspiring stories on how you can transition from, being that corporate executive to becoming a successful small business owner through franchising. So don't forget to subscribe, share your journey with us, and we look forward to talking to you. Thanks, Pete.
You got it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Escape and Empower podcast. We hope today's discussion has inspired you to consider franchise ownership as a path to living life on your own terms. Start your journey towards financial freedom and flexibility. Connect with Dave at empoweredfranchisee.com or Pete at hireyourself.com. Until next time.